So Tiahna joined the Down to Business podcast today, all the way from Australia. Yes, this was really an amazing interview from start to finish. We really were able to take a deeper dive into her clothing brand, Beg For Me, and how she came up with the name and how sometimes simplicity is key. And I think once you hear the story behind it, it'll definitely leave your jaw drop, just like mine was. So ladies, fellas, definitely check her out. She's very, unique when it comes to her collections and how she drops. And she even teased some upcoming collections in which you guys can expect some of the products and even what she has currently. So even on top of that, we talked about time, and we talked about sometimes you have to sit on things. You have to go through the process, the trials, the tribulations. You have to sometimes do things that you did not want to do. But ultimately, when you have goals, when you have passions, when you have aspirations, it'll always fall through and it'll always happen the way it should. So without further ado, enjoy episode 104, Intentional by Design. All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Down to Business podcast. And I know I come on here a lot. I tell y'all I'm very excited. I'm very happy. I'm just overjoyed to be talking to business owners and entrepreneurs. But this episode is really special. Like, I know I say that about a lot of episodes, y'all. Every episode is special in its own way for sure. But this one because, Tiahna is located in Australia, meaning like she's there right now. Like, that's where she lives. Like, whereas, I'm recording this on my side and it's like 6 p.m. right now. It's 8 in the morning for her. So one, I commend her because she got up at 8 this morning. Like, for me, because I even said in the messages when we were talking, I said, now if 8's too early, just let me know. Like, we can, but I kind of threw it out there a little subtle. She said, let's do it. That's great. Like, for me, if anybody told me I had an interview at 8 in the morning, no, couldn't do it. Like, can we push it back 10, noon, something like that? But she said, she's really a morning person. That's really what she likes to do. So very excited to be talking to her. One, for us to get that perspective, for her to tell y'all a little bit about what she does and how you can tap in and tune in with her. But really excited just because she's all the way across the world. I've talked to a lot of different business owners and entrepreneurs who have done work in different countries, or even from different countries and outside parts of the United States and things like that. But never anybody physically located there right now. So, Tiahna, how you doing today? How's everything?
I'm good. I'm really good. When I like jumped out of bed this morning and I was like, oh my God, I'm going to be on a podcast. I'm about to be on a podcast. So excited, a little bit nervous, but like I kind of feel like I've wanted to come onto podcasts for such a long time. And it came to me a couple of weeks ago and I was like, you know what? It's time to like step up again into my brand and step up into business, into this kind of new level that I'm kind of about to hit. So it's time to just like go balls deep, to be honest.
All right. I like that. Stepping up. So you kind of already did tell us kind of what brings you on the podcast today, but for the people listening, we're definitely going to have a host of different viewers, listeners. Like I said, I even got my IG Live audience in here right now. Can you, one, just tell us a little bit about yourself? And then two, can you just tell us what brings you on the podcast today?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Tiahna. A lot of people call me T. You're more than welcome to call me T if it's easier for you. And I have a clothing brand called Beg For Me. Basically, it's a brand for men and women, and the whole point of us is to create clothes. It's a slow fashion brand. So we create clothes that are going to last in your wardrobe for a really long time. How we do this is we release one collection at a time, which is why it's called Beg For Me. And yeah, so we release one collection at a time and that's never been restocked ever again. So that's kind of how we do it. We just release one thing, like one drop, one collection. And it's like, when that goes, that goes. Yeah.
Wow. So you said a lot in there. Okay. So first and foremost, I like you kind of answered the question even without me having to ask it. So something I'm very interested in always is names. How did people come up with the names? Every name always has a story for it. So when I was actually when I was going through your page, I said, "Hey, that's her clothing brand. That's very interesting, But it's something where you click it in the bio, you see it, you're like, oh, I want to see more, or I want to know more, because I was actually talking to somebody today at my job, and we were talking about emotion and how a lot of times people buy something or kind of attach to a brand or a business, not necessarily always because of the products. Like, obviously, yes, if things look nice, if you think it looks good on you, if you enjoy it, yeah, of course. But whenever a brand has a story behind it, whenever it's really just, you're like, wow, that's catchy, or like, how did they come up with that? It always kind of gives you more of a sense of like curiosity. And then when you kind of find out if it's something up your alley, you're like, okay, really want to do that. So something you already said that's unique. You said you only release one collection at a time, and then after that, that's it.
Yeah.
So typically, being that you are for men and women and things like that, I understand that each collection may be, let me actually backtrack before I make any assumptions.
Yeah.
What are your collections based around? Are they relevant to like a specific theme? Are they relevant to maybe the season, the weather, anything like that? Just how you're feeling, motivations? How do you kind of come up with that?
Well, it's so funny that you asked me that because my next, so I was literally, so first and first, one thing I've been doing lately is having a lot of conversations with myself behind the scenes. I'm like sitting here, like just having conversations with myself about where I want Beg for Me to go. And it's super typical for brands to create clothes based on seasons, which is great. Like I get it. We all need clothes as for seasons. And that's something I did at the start. So I actually launched 7 months ago in January. And when I created the collection to come out in January, which was last year, I created it specifically for summertime. However, I was like, okay, I kind of was like, is this conditioning? Like, do we have to, as a business owner, am I meant to create clothes based on this season? Like, who decided that? Do you know what I mean? Like who literally decided that we need to create clothes based on the season? Like, because I was kind of thinking about it and I was like, every single person in the world right now is in a different space. Weather is different, times are different. Like, who said, like, am I limiting myself by creating clothes based on one particular season? Do you know what I mean? So, in kind of like in going forward in Beg for Me for my next collections that are coming out, I actually decided to create a collection based on emotion. And you're 100% right that people connect with you based on emotion. And clothes is something that actually can be super difficult for people to connect with as well because the market is so flooded. Like clothes are everywhere. Like you can go down the street, you can go online. There's so many e-commerce stores. Like clothes are everywhere. Like they literally run the world. And I was like, okay, in order for me to kind of have a point of difference, like, yes, I'm called Beg for Me and it's super catchy and people are so curious as to where I got the name from, which I'll totally explain in a moment because it's actually the most random, funny story ever. And anyway, so my next collection, I'm actually going to bring it out. It's going to be called the Confidence Collection and it's going to be based on like genuinely showing up and being the very best version of yourself and dressing like that every single day rather than limiting myself of like, okay, it's summertime, everyone buy your summer clothes, like it's winter, now everyone get your winter clothes. Like it's like, actually no, let's just scrap all of that and you can just wear whatever the fuck you want any day and show up and just wear that. Do you know what I mean?
I like that a lot. I like that. Man, as soon as you said confidence, I said I saw some of my people heart in it. I got happy. I'm just like, because a lot of times, like you said, a lot of brands follow that norm or just follow, hey, all right, it's spring now, we got to get ready for this. Or
Yeah,
as the end of summer coming, you start to see the fall pieces and the winter pieces coming in. And not to say that there's anything wrong with that, but like you
yeah,
said, sometimes when it comes to your brand, when it comes to your business, what you like to do, you just want to go against the norm, go against the grain, do something different. Because I know for me, if I go to a website and if I click a tab and I see the collection tab and I click the drop down menu and I see the confidence collection, I
yeah,
might click that first.
yeah,
I don't care whatever else is going on, but I just might because it's but you need things like that that are just going to be eye grabbing that somebody's going to look at real quick and it's just like because a lot of times these days we only have you only have a certain amount of time to capture people's attention,
you
especially
do.
on the phone. We're quick to just you get a notification,
Yeah,
completely forget what you were doing in a completely different screen. The tab can get lost somewhere all the way down in your iPhone, so it's just
like,
like there's so much going on. So the fact that you can have something that catches people, that draws people in, that's amazing.
yeah,
Another
totally.
concept that so something that you said that I've never really heard, but it makes sense now that you said slow fashion. Okay, so
Yeah.
I got on I got on a few episodes back with a woman by the name of Fatima, and she runs her own brand in the sense to Ali Fendich, and she was talking a lot about fast fashion, how things are here now and things are just really trendy and things are always just moving and back and forth and so many styles and things like that
Oh,
switch. Okay,
yeah.
so why coming into business did you want to really highlight and emphasize the idea of slow fashion?
Honestly, we live in such a transformative, like fast changing world. Like think about 10 years ago, like the first iPhone came out. We're up to iPhone 13 Max Pro, whatever it is, right? We have Apple Watches, we have electric cars. Like it's like, can we just take a breather for a moment? Like, not everything has to be so fast paced and quick, ever changing. Like, I'm so here for, like, in terms of personal growth and humans as evolving, like, I'm so here for quick changes and growth. But something that I think it's really easy for people to just throw stuff away, and like the world is kind of starting to lose its meaning and connections kind of slowing down a lot, especially with social media, instant gratification, and Tinder, and all of the things like in the dating world, and then in the fashion industry, there's like fast fashion coming out, and like there's a random top that you'll wear once, and you're just going to throw it out, and what's it going to do? It's just going to go to landfill, essentially. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm here for slow fashion of things that you're going to have forever and things that like actually have meaning to you. Do you know what I mean? Like it's so easy, especially in 2022 where everything's throwaway, everything's easy, like it's so quick to bypass things. And I guess I'm pretty old school in the sense of like I actually wanted to just come back to basics, like build a strong foundation for your wardrobe, for your life, for everything. Because I feel everything's super interconnected. And yeah, when we can build like a strong foundation in our wardrobes, we're building our strong foundations for ourselves every single day, right? We don't have meltdowns in the morning because we have this random top that we fucking hate that we bought just because we're going through this like random party phase. We're like, okay, like what's like what does that add any value to your life? Do you know what I mean? Like I'm super intentional and conscious about a lot of things in my life, but especially my wardrobe. And I thought, you know what, this is actually such an important concept that, especially in like a super quick changing world, like there's humongous brands that are fast fashion and they're like that for a reason. So like, why don't we just come back to basics, you know?
It's so crazy that you bring up intentional when and shout out to my boy got on here. He said that was very well said. So yeah, shout out to him. But
Oh,
no,
thank
it was
you.
very interesting that you said and being intentional with a wardrobe because so just yesterday I was on my way out. I was about to actually go to Walmart just to pick up something, just grab something quick and come back to the house so I could start cooking. So on my way out, if you know me, you know that one of my biggest pet peeves are wrinkled clothes. Like I cannot stand the
You and
idea
me
of wrinkled.
both.
I can't like shirts, anything. Like I just can't. If I take it out, I hate the idea of people say throw it in the dryer. The first time I ever used a steamer was in college, and that was a very interesting experience for me. I burnt myself, and I'll never do it again. My roommate, one of my roommates actually ended up having to teach me like how to do. I've never. It's very different. But so yesterday, I'm unfolding like I'm going through my laundry and things like that, just trying to grab a shirt, and I take it, and so I'm being really lazy. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to Walmart. I don't really care. Like, let me just throw the shirt on. But I held it up, so I threw the shirt on, and I look in the mirror. I'm like, no, this is like incredibly wrinkled. Like there's wrinkle, and then there's just like this. Like this just looked like I literally just balled it up. I said, you know what? But why I was just like, but I also in my head I thought, you never know who I'm. Yes, I think I'm just taking a quick 10, 15-minute ride to Walmart, but you don't know who I could see. You don't know what opportunity could come my way. You don't know what's going on. And I know for me, like, if I was put in a position to give somebody an opportunity or something, sometimes you can make or break or sell yourself short just from presentation. Like you said, sometimes we own so many things or we just have stuff based off of phases and kind of what we're going through. But do you really think about like what you have, what you wear, what it says, what you're doing? Sometimes it was a couple of times where like I remember the rock bands and like the graphic tees, they were really big on phases. But why I didn't buy a lot of them was because like they were fire. They looked really good.
Yeah.
But in a sense too, it was just like I had saw a tweet that said, yo, I had this guy had on this Led Zeppelin shirt today, and I asked him what was his favorite song, and he didn't even know any songs. And I was just like, I actually own a Def Leppard shirt, and I was just like, before I own that shirt, I couldn't tell you a single song by them. So I'm also in the business of,
Yeah.
knowing what you're wearing, knowing what song. Because I've had people, say stuff about something that's on the back of my shirt or even read my shirt. And I'm kind of just looking at them like, what are you talking about? They're like, that's your shirt. I'm
Literally.
like, oh, wow. Like, I didn't even pay attention, kind of just threw this on today. So for me, I definitely was very intentional yesterday. One,
That's
about
cool.
ironing my clothes. But two,
Yeah.
making sure that, no matter where you're going, no matter what you're doing, you always just have to look presentable. You always just have to have that aspect of
100%.
you, that because you just never know. Like I said, that Walmart trip could
Totally.
have turned into a new podcast interview, a new
Totally.
opportunity, a side hustle or something like that. You never know that. So being intentional is so important. I
It's
love that. All right.
so important.
So
Yeah. Can I say
not
something else like on that as well?
absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
how you said it was so interesting. You said that your shirt was all wrinkled. It was like looked like it'd been scrunched up. Literally, I've had this conversation with my best friend so many times because how often, right, how we treat the things around us is like a reflection of how we treat ourselves. So like think about I used this analogy when I released my socks because I was like, can you like think about this? We shove clothes at the very bottom of our drawer. Imagine like you just shove stuff in your drawer. Like, how do you expect to get up every single day and like feel amazing and like have this fucking amazing day when you're literally have your clothes scrunched at the bottom of a drawer, you have mismatched socks, like how do you expect to like feel like the very best version of yourself? And I'm gonna say that it's so easy to and it's so easy for us to judge other people based on what they look like as well. But if someone's like seriously put fucking effort into presenting themselves in such a like in a nice way, like I truly don't believe there's anything wrong with that. You know?
Telling you, like the way you said that is just so. We really don't recognize that how a lot of what we do day in and day out really affects, our aura, just how we carry ourselves,
It
how we feel,
does.
our mental, physical, everything. It's like you said, something as simple as just putting off the laundry.
Yeah,
Or moving it over to the other side of the bed so that you can sleep, or stuffing it in the drawer, not folding it. Like,
yeah,
just that can change just moves. That because now you're looking, you come home, you still got a pile of clothes sitting on your bed. You're just like,
yeah,
wow, I
yeah,
got to do that again. Your room is still in a. It feels like it's in a mess. They say something about how making your bed at the beginning of each day just could change your whole day, and you're in
does.
a different mood because then what it also does too is helps you start the day. But then when you come home from work, you got a nice made, fresh, clean
Yeah,
bed. It's not pillows falling off, pillowcases looking crazy, everything like that. So that's so
100%.
it's crazy how a lot of that can just have that trickle down effect and really influence how we do a lot that we do in our lives. So
Yeah,
something that you told me that was so I don't know why. Well, I know why it was interesting, just because it's cool, but it really stuck out to me was when we were talking and you said that basically your sister right now is in Miami
yeah,
because she has her own clothing brand as well.
yeah.
I want to get into that. So how did that happen? Was this where did y'all kind of branch off each other? Do y'all help each other? What is the difference in what she does and what you do, if anything at all? Like, how did y'all both come to be in the same business essentially and be siblings at the same time?
So so funny. So my sister, she has a swimwear label, not a clothing brand. So she did do some clothes a few months ago, but I think she kind of really wanted to niche down into swimwear and like really found her voice and where she wanted to sit in the market. She has a huge US following, which is so incredible. And she's actually got into Miami Swim Week, which is happening right now, if you know, like that's happening in Miami. She's in Swim Week. She's the first Australian and she's the youngest Australian to be in Swim Week. She's only 20 years old, which is really cool. So she's not even old enough to go out yet. She's over there, which is like, it's fucking amazing. I guess her and I, we're so different in the things that we do. Like, her and I are like so polarizing. Like when we were growing up, I was a little shit and like just curious and just let my curiosity get the better of me when I was growing up. Kids, just kids being kids, like which is it's great because it gives you a lot of experience, wisdom when you grow up. And you don't have to make those mistakes when you get into your 20s, which is fantastic. um, but yeah, we're totally different. She started her business when she was 16 years old. And like, so yeah, over like, say the last 4 to 5 years, she's really been like figuring out her place in the industry, figuring out what she wanted to do. And she's always had this love for swimwear and always been like, she's just obsessed. Like she was essentially just obsessed. All she would wear is cozies, like middle of winter time here in Australia. It's fucking freezing. And she's like, yeah, going for a swim. Okay. Okay. Are you all right? And I guess for myself, so I actually model as well. I've been a model since I was 13 years old. And I've got an agent and everything, which is amazing. I'm very lucky. And for myself, like even growing up when I was a kid, I've just loved clothes and I've loved fashion for such a long time. And like it's so funny that you say this because I've had so many like deep reflection moments in the last couple of months of like, I'm actually living out something that I wanted to do since I was like 7 years old. And being in the fashion industry for such a long time, like I've styled shoots, I've been at shoots, I've created shoots, I've been on the back end, I've been on all sides of it, and I'm like, I genuinely like love this so much, and I feel like there's such a huge piece of the industry that's missing because it's so quick and ever changing. Where like sometimes we just forget to be intentional about things, and we can get so carried away with like just the fashion world is it's fucking crazy. Like it's such a humongous space. And yeah, I actually planned this label I think it was 3 or 4 years ago, and I was like super lost. I was like going through a stage. I was actually, get this, I was actually operating heavy machinery. at this job. I was operating heavy machinery, and I remember it was like a night shift, and I was doing 7 p.m. till 7 a.m. And like on like night shift, you're exhausted, you're tired, like you're just so not there. And I remember like this idea came to me, and I was like, oh my god, this is like the best idea. And I was so terrified and petrified of being judged that, oh my god, like why would you have a clothing brand? Like I remember I told one of my friends at the time, and she was like, oh, like that's a really big job. I was like, yeah, you're right, maybe I shouldn't do it. And I put it off for like 3, 4 years, 5 years. And then it was last year, and I was like, I remember sitting at my desk just doing an office job again, still pretty lost, and I was like, what the fuck am I doing? Like this is not me. Like this is just not me. Like what the fuck am I doing? I know what's me. And then I was like, oh my god, T, just your clothing brand. Like it's literally everything. And then yeah, I just started taking action, taking steps every single day, build my audience, like kind of nurture my Instagram, and like tell everyone, guys, I'm making a clothing brand and I don't give a fuck. And like just doing it, and like just following that call. If I didn't have, I'm super intuitive, like I'm very intuitive. Sometimes I'm like, I think I'm psychic. But it was just like following the call of my inner voice and listening to it, and then just creating it, speaking to my sister about it, and just fucking doing it and building it from there. Yeah.
Just do it. Like something as very simple and cliche as that. But
Yeah.
what that really just told me, that told me two things about you. That told me one, that the timing is everything. That sometimes things may not go exactly how we want them to go. That sometimes we look back on certain things. Because I even think about this when it comes to the podcast. I should have branched off into certain avenues sooner, or maybe I should have got on YouTube a little bit earlier. Maybe
Yeah.
I should have just stopped being so scared and travel. Maybe I should have already done a live event. It's always those what ifs, or if I could do this or if I could do that, instead of just sometimes, like you said, just sitting down, mapping it out, taking one step, one thing at a time. Because like you said, you had people come to you, you had people shoot the idea down, you had jobs that you hated. You said you felt like you were just in a blank space at some point. You just couldn't get things together. You were working overnight. Graveyard shift is never fun. So I
No.
definitely understand you on that. But
Yeah.
what that also tells me is that you never lost the vision. You never lost the dream. It was destined. It was supposed to happen this way. Because for me, I hear 3, 4, 5 years of something. That's a long time. That's a long time to sit on something. That's a long time to not only sit on something but still plan and work towards it, still have ideas. Because I'm pretty sure across these 3, 4, and 5 years, you were still updating, you were still thinking, you were still talking, you were getting motivation, you were seeing things. Your sister was doing her thing, which
Yeah.
big shout out to her, by the way, because that's amazing. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That was one. I didn't know that there was swim week this week, but I definitely know that she's in the right place at the right time. So that's amazing on her, and we'll
100%.
definitely have to get with her. I'm gonna have to do a sister duo, man. I
Yeah, oh
need
my
it.
god, you
So
so should. I will send you through her
absolutely.
socials.
Okay, absolutely. But yeah, but no, more so it's saying that, wow, you really locked in, you really honed in, you really knew what you wanted to do. You really you might have even reached just a breaking point where you said, I'm tired of this desk job. I
Oh my
can't do this
god.
anymore. I'm
Yeah.
tired of feeling this way. I'm tired of thinking about it. I'm tired of sitting on it. Just do it. Like you said, forget what anybody else is saying. Forget the outsiders. Let's internalize this thing and let's figure it out from there. And like you said, from there, you just started to go. You just kept it going. You just kept making it happen. So for me, that's amazing. So I think about,
Thank you.
you sat on something for 3, 4, 5 years
Yeah.
and finally debuted it in January.
Yeah.
What's the road been like now that we're in July?
7 months in. It's been good. Um,
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie, I've had a few moments of like, the fuck am I doing? Like, am I on the right track? Like, am I actually on the right track? Like, my ego sometimes can get the better of me, but it's just like coming back in, like you said, internalizing it and like stopping and sitting, listening to my body, and I'm like, okay, I'm actually like living out my dream. Like, keep going, keep going, keep going. Obviously, as a business owner, any business owner will tell you this: you don't get to bypass failure. Like, we can't be so entitled to think that we get to just fucking bypass failure. I even tried to start a business last year. I like made these like presets, like when you like edit photos. Like, I was doing that for a little bit, and I was like, what am I doing? What am I doing? Like, that failed, and I was like, okay, that's fine. Just keep moving forward. Like, you honestly, you figure it out. Like, if you want to have a business and you want to be an entrepreneur, you just have to fucking figure it out. Truly, it takes a lot of self-reflection, building of emotional intelligence, being able to hold like different frequencies of like, okay, I need to process my emotion of something happening in my personal life today, but I also have orders to send out, and I also have a community to nurture, and I also have like, I also have marketing to do, and I've also got back end work to do, and I've got meetings to be had. So all the things, like it's just ability to be able to hold it all, and kind of also a lot of letting go of things that no longer kind of serve you anymore has been huge for me. Like, I've had to let go of a lot of old relationships, old friends, like old places, old things, like just like fully letting go to kind of create space to move forward into my future. But it's been great. It's been so great. Like it's been super well received by some people. It's been super not well received by other people. Like, they say, one of my good friends said this. She said, the bigger the space that you create, the bigger the projection, because the bigger space you create, the more room you're allowing yourself for judgment and for people to come into your space and shame you or whatever that is. And that's happened a few times, but I haven't let it deter me from kind of moving forward, like just kind of holding people in their projection of like, it actually has nothing to do with me, and like, I wish you well, keep going. So that's been huge. Like it's just been it's been great. Like there's been tears, there's been laughter, there's been celebrations, there's been everything, but I truly would not change it for the world.
All a part of the process, man. And that also,
Yeah.
I hear a lot of growth and I hear a lot of maturity in that answer and in
Yeah.
your mindset, how you're thinking and how you're feeling. It's not always easy to do what you did. Like you said, one, it's not easy to launch a business. It's not easy to recognize that launching said business, the success is going to come. You're going to be happy. You're going to be, let's do it again. Like, let's
Yeah.
run it back. Let's make it happen. I'm amped up.
Yeah, literally.
Failure comes around, nobody feels that way though. Everybody's kind of just looking to the side or head down or,
Yeah.
or do I really want to do this? You have to learn to appreciate both. That's all of everything. Because like you said, in the end, you wouldn't change any of it. You
No.
needed everything that happened to you, both good, bad, ugly, pretty, all of
Yeah.
that. You needed to let go of that relationship. You needed to hear that from your friend to give you more motivation to go forward, so
100%.
it's
Duality as
important
well.
that you can do things like that. Exactly. But
Yeah.
because it's a lot of times that could be the make or break. That could be something to the reason why you're not really elevating to the next level because you're just holding on to maybe toxic habits or
Yeah.
things in your life are not really propelling you. People are not really supporting you the way that you think. Even just energy. Energy is just so important with all of that. So
So important.
in hearing kind of what you just said and thinking about that, now we're 7 months in. You still have a host of, I feel like there's so much more that can come from this, a host of promise, everything that you're trying to do.
Yeah.
I think about the US. I think about more specifically even where I'm from, where I've been, and just different things like that. And I know that something that's really big here, especially more recently, is clothing, whether it be streetwear,
Yeah.
swimwear, anything like that.
Okay.
Formal, like it's like you said, it's very populated here. Almost it feels saturated sometimes. You look left, you look right, clothing brand here, clothing brand there, different things like that.
Yeah.
So how has it been received with where you are specifically with being in Australia with what is kind of like the vibe like out there when it comes to kind of clothing and brands and businesses and people being entrepreneurs and everything like that? What's the scene like?
The scene again, like super flooded, like the US. Like I can think of in my small town that I live in, I can think of 3 different people that have clothing brands around here. And I think kind of being able to kind of scale it and set it apart, obviously everyone wants to set themselves apart and be different, and everyone wants to grow. And like I believe that one, there is like so much space and room for every single person to succeed because one, everyone's different. Two, everyone's attracted to a different kind of market, a different kind of brand, a different kind of human being behind the brand as well for a particular reason. And I think that's so great. Like every single person is at a different, like in terms of consumers and customers, everyone's at a different level and a different state. So they're going to be attracted to a different kind of I guess, entrepreneur, business owner anyway, of who they want to buy with and who they choose to, spend their money with, which I think is great. Like there's different levels for all of us, and that's, it's life. Like we need that. In terms of being in Australia and the market, it's it's a really big job. I'm not gonna lie, it is super flooded. But if you just gotta hold the vision, just gotta hold the frequency, hold the vision, and just keep doing it. Keep holding your vision. That's honestly the biggest thing that I've learned is like don't let go of it, and also trusting in my own inner voice in terms of going forward. Does that answer your question?
Yes, absolutely. I think you gave even a little bit more insight just as to,
Okay.
just what you have to deal with on the ins and outs of just being a business owner, that
Yeah.
what people see, what you kind of give, what you present about. But even there's a lot of things, there's a lot of just trials, tribulations, things that we don't
Really.
talk about, that we just deal with, that people that you really sometimes you don't realize unless you're a business owner or entrepreneur. And even when you are a business owner and entrepreneur, it's still unique, like you said, because everybody is doing something different. Everybody is finding their niche a different way, setting themselves apart in a different
100%.
way. So no, you definitely hit the nail on the head, because yeah, like I said, I had no idea, what y'all have going on out there, what it is like. But to
Mhm.
know that, it's very similar all across the board, it just goes to show you, how people are thinking, how people are moving,
Yeah.
what the world even is like. Because I feel like definitely the times that we're going through, what's been going on, what we've had to deal with, has shaped a lot of people's decisions, has shaped a lot of people wanting to
Yeah.
just brand themselves or recognize that things are expendable. Jobs are not always going to want to hire you. And then when they do hire you, they don't always want to pay you.
Yeah.
And then when they do pay you, you're still funding somebody else's dreams at the end of the day, still working for a company. They're not necessarily all in on you. The only person who's always going to be all in on you
Is you.
is you. So,
Yeah.
you always have to take that extra step to really take it that much more serious.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Totally.
okay, back to the collections now, because I'm very interested. Once you said men and women, you got me amped up, because a lot of people who I talk to, and no
Yeah.
shade to my, no shade to my ladies, no shade to everybody else who I brought on, but the ladies gonna look out for the ladies. Like y'all know what y'all want, y'all know what y'all like. So naturally, when you bring that brand in, it's
Yeah.
gonna take care of the ladies. And that's not to say that I've been applying the pressure to a few of my interviewees
Yeah.
to we got to bring that men's side in there. We got to bring that. I'm not
Yeah.
just gonna tell you to bring it in there without the support. So I'm gonna always tell my fellas, look, if I'm bringing it in there, if I'm supporting it, if I'm sharing it, we got to make something happen. So with the men's and the women's collection, walk me through really the process of releasing a collection. Do you have a certain, and it may be different for each collection, so if it kind of varies, you can also say that as well, but
Mhm.
do you have a certain amount of pieces that you release per collection? Is it just, oh, the men are going to get a certain amount here, the men are going to get this, the women are going to get this? Is it kind of just a mixture, kind of based off of the nature of the collection? What is that really like, having to support both crowds?
It's actually been super interesting. So I used to work at a clothing store, like an Australian clothing brand, like at a store. And we sold men's and women's, and I actually learned so much from them because I used to work in men's and I used to work in women's. So it was really cool for me to see the perspective of how both people dress and how both people kind of navigate their way through getting dressed and clothing and how their brain works and all the things. And it's super, the psychology of fashion is like next level. Firstly, like it is when you know psychology of fashion, it makes the biggest difference in terms of not just marketing but understanding people and human beings as human beings. And one thing I also actually want to say, really one quick thing, I don't know if this is related or not, but every single human being, like in the buying process, has their own process. And I feel like as a business owner and someone who's creating collections for people, we cannot disempower their process of like, we can't disempower their buying process. Do you know what I mean? Like at the place I used to work at, used to be super pushy of like, hi, how can I help you? This is like, this is this, and this is this, like buy this and get this, and then oh, maybe you want this too. Like I choose to not be that in Beg for Me because I fully trust that every single person that comes to me is a fully grown human being who has their own decision making process and who will discern whether this product is good for them or not. Like I one thing that's so important. Two, in terms of men's collections, my stepdad is such a fashionable guy, and I've had so many conversations with him about, would you wear this? Would you wear this? And like measuring him up and making designs and drawing them all, and like speaking with my manufacturers, and he's like helping me through this process. One, I love looking after men's clothes because like who doesn't love a well-dressed man? Like come on, let's be honest. you know, like I'm so here for helping women look great, obviously because I'm a woman. I'm like, yeah, go sis, like get dressed. But I want to see a beautiful, handsome man wearing an incredible outfit as well. Do you know what I mean? Like me going out into the dating world, I want to see a man that's dressed like an absolute king. I want to see that.
Mhm.
I'm so here for that. So that's why I like to look after men and I like to look after women as well. And in terms of creating collection, my confidence collection that's coming next is it's just going to be great. I haven't decided fully about men's yet, but it's going to be great.
So the fact that she's undecided, y'all, the fact that the fellas still haven't gotten it yet means that he's coming with the fire. She has to give us a little bit extra more time, a little extra more
Yeah.
effort. Because like she said, we gotta be kings, y'all. We gotta look good.
It's
We
true.
gotta do all of that. I'm
Yeah.
with all of that.
Yeah.
When you look good, you feel good. So I can't, I can't argue with that at all. So speaking of collection, since you just mentioned that, what is one, and even it could be upcoming or it could be something that you've done previously, being that these are such unique, these collections to me are almost one of one. Like you said, they released that one time for that
Yeah.
period. And after that, it's like
That's
you
it.
snooze, you lose type thing. So what has been a collection that since January and since kind of coming into business and things like that, that has a really meaningful or powerful message or story behind it?
Honestly, the women's collection that I brought out was like, so I realized that every single time like I'm creating a collection, it's actually a different version of myself that I'm either one just learnt about and integrated, and I'm just like expressing that through clothing. And like obviously that's what all designers do. Like kind of that's how we live, that's how we work. And I'm gonna say 100% one. The women's collection that I brought out in January with the Carter skirt was like my absolute favorite, and it was about creating like something super fun and something super sexy, and just like turning it into like this, just like feeling like somebody fucking different. Like it does something to people, and I'm not kidding. Every single woman I've had mums buy this skirt be like, "Oh my god, T, like I have not felt this sexy for such a long time." Like that for me is huge. Do you know what I mean? Like imagine because there's like this thing in society where like mums should not feel sexy, and like she was experiencing this and she was like, I just like haven't felt sexy for so long. She bought the skirt and she's like, oh my god, I literally made plans to wear this. I was like, you are a fucking mad bitch. That's amazing. Like, thank you for telling me that. Thank you for sharing that with me, because just that for me in itself, and making people feel like fucking fantastic with that skirt, the Carter skirt, has been absolutely next level. And then something when I released the socks as well, when I kind of touching on what we spoke about earlier, how I said like we have mismatched socks at the bottom of our drawer, we have socks with holes. Like, who the fuck wants to wear socks with holes? Who wants to wear mismatched socks? Like, I created them because they're called Beg For Me. They just have this little Beg For Me written on the side, like super, super seductive, curious, like sexy, but like really cool as well. Do you know what I mean? Like really simple statements. And I think it's kind of a reflection of like how far I've come in terms of cutting back everything in my life to like simplicity, but statements, like nice, but simple, you know? So,
I
yeah,
like it. I like it, man. Like you said, it's all about making people feel sexy, feel good. So the fact
really.
that she was able to get that vibe from the clothing and really embrace a different form of or element of her, or really truly embrace who she really was all this time. But sometimes you
Yeah,
just need something to really bring that out of you, to kickstart you. I'm
totally.
with you, and I'm gonna have to get the socks now. I'm big on socks.
Oh, you like
I love socks.
socks? I love
I
it.
love always try to keep a little, my sock. For those who really know me, you know that my sock collection is untouched. I'm still waiting on somebody to step up. We can go sock for sock, like a versus
What?
type thing, and
Yeah,
I guarantee I'll win it
absolutely.
every time. But
Yeah,
no, I think that is so. That's good. Like you said, just being that intentionality, man. I feel like intentional was really a word for this episode, just because when it comes to brands, like you said, clothes are everywhere. They are so expensive. We have so many. Just I think about, even as you were talking, I think about all the T-shirts that I have. I think about the ones that I barely wore. I think about the ones that I use for pajamas. I think about the ones that when it's time to go out, it's
yeah.
time to go out. And I think about ones that I have. How you have it sectioned just based off, what you do, the vibe, everything like that. Okay, so I really wanted to save the best for last. Like, yes, we're going to get into a couple of more things. I still want my followers to tap in with you, and I still want you to leave some more messages for them as well. But
Happy time for you.
Big for Me, the name.
Yes.
How did we? Yeah, how did we get here? Because like you said, now that as you keep mentioning, as you keep kind of talking about it, it's just further strengthening my curiosity. It's just further like, how did she do that? So yes, please walk us through this very, like you said, because I know it's an entertaining story. So please, yes, how did Beg For Me come to be the name for your brand?
Someone literally asked me this yesterday, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna have to send you a voice memo. Okay, so what happened was my brand was originally going to be called Tiahna Jade, the label, which is my name and my middle name, my first and my middle name. And I was like, no guy is gonna buy something from the brand Tiahna Jade. Like, it's so feminine. Men are not gonna one, men are not, it's not going to hit the male target, and like that's fine. But also Tiahna J, the label, like it's not, you're not going to remember it. It's not super punchy. Like, yeah, you'll remember my name, but it just wasn't it. You know, just there was something off. And my intuition was kind of telling me, it was like, just wait, like the name's going to come. And I was like, all right. And I thought to myself, maybe it'll come like in a dream. Like, you know, heaps of stuff comes to me in dreams normally, so maybe it'll come to me in a dream. Anyway, I was like, I thought that I had figured the name out, and I was like, yeah, Tiahna J, the label. You know what? Let's just fucking settle for that. Like, I haven't thought of anything else. Write it down, draw up my logo. Like, oh yeah, this is cool. Like, it's not like fucking amazing, but you know, this will do for now. I was just going to settle for it, and I'm so glad my intuition did not let me do that. Very glad. That's the message. Don't settle. And I went out for dinner with my two best friends. And so I met them at this restaurant, and I was a little bit late. They were already waiting there. And I was like, sat down. I was like, right, guys, girls, guess what? They were like, what? I was like, I've got the name for my brand. I've got the name for my label. And they were like, oh, what is it? And I go, beg for me. And they're like, oh yeah, I love that. I was like, no, beg for me to tell you. Like, come on, I'm building suspense. Beg for me. And they're like, I love beg for me. I was like, guys, it's going to be called Tiahna J, the label. And they were like, no, beg for me is it. Like, beg for me is literally it. I was like, stop. I say that all the time. I'm such like a cheeky little woman. I'm so cheeky, and I always say little comments like that. So I was like, fuck, beg for me. True. And then we were sitting at dinner, and the whole time we were talking, we were like, oh my God, and you could do this. And then like we were talking, we were like, imagine having like a sexy pair of pants, and like the tag on the inside just says beg for me at the back. And we're like, oh my God, this is fucking genius.
So it pays to be cheeky. Wow, that's
yeah.
said that, my mouth went wide. I said wow, because that's not a, so honestly, like, beg for me is not really a common term used here, like in United States. Like, people won't just like they'll probably say like beg, they may say like beg for it, or are you gonna make me beg, or more so a question based. But
Yeah.
the fact that you, as soon as you said that, I said, wow, so she just, wait, so where did the, no, because when you were first telling the story, I said, wait, so where's the story come in? Like, how does she, you already knew beg for me, but no, you were actually telling them, yo,
I
wow,
was just
that's great. Now that's crazy.
I was
That's
just being
crazy.
direct and like upfront. You know, when you say to someone, talk to me, yeah? What is it? I'm all it. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, beg for me. And I was like, come on, beg for me. I don't
Wow.
see any fucking, come on, tell me, Tiahna, tell me. I was like, it was none of that. I was like, okay. like, come on. And then, yeah,
I need
we
some
kind
more
of,
energy. Y'all need a little bit more excitement. Where's the, come on, where's the,
yeah,
wow, I
that
love
was
it.
me. I
I
was
love
like, come
it.
on, guys. Like, where's the energy? And like, my two best friends are sitting there, and they're both like, this bitch just fucking, this rolled off the tongue. And we were like,
So
oh my God, it did. It just rolled off the tongue.
they said that's fire. That's creative. No, I like that a lot. I'm not gonna lie. That's a very simplistic but creative like story or way to come into business. Now that's amazing. I like. Hey, look, y'all, fellas, ladies, I need y'all to tap in. Beg for me, man. Don't beg for me, but the clothing brand. Like, just y'all do what y'all got to do, man. Because at the end of the day, I definitely think that there's there's like, with being intentional, like you said, you said that for a reason. You're like you said, you're cheeky. That's what you do. You said that for a reason. You brought that up to them for a reason. They loved it for a reason, and y'all didn't even get into the Tiahna Jane part. So that's,
You didn't.
yeah, that's crazy, man. I love that. So
Yeah.
before we officially get into, the social media, the website, where people can find you, where people can tap in with you, do you feel like there's anything that we haven't tapped into today? Any last words that you even want to leave for, up and coming business owners, entrepreneurs, anything that you, even any teasers that you want to leave? Something we love to do here on the Down to Business podcast, for as much as we can without ruining anything. I love to just get people to kind of give me some, if they can, just give me something. What should, obviously, you already gave us the confidence collection, so you can really leave it at that if you want to. But is there anything that, when tapping in with Beg for Me, with the people, when they go to your website and even start following you
Yeah.
and your crowd and your journey, and anything that they should be looking forward to coming from you?
Definitely. I'm going through a huge phase, like personally myself at the moment, where like I'm like kind of leaving some old cycles, toxic behaviors, like full self-responsibility, self-awareness, like a lot of that taking radical responsibility for myself and like my life and moving forward, as we all need to do. And I guess one thing I want to say is yes, the confidence collection is coming soon. I also possibly am about to have my first stockist in Dubai in a beautiful boutique, which is like super exciting. I'm not going to say the name yet, but I'm just going to leave it at that. So half my stock will probably be going there. And then another thing, I actually have potentially been shortlisted for a fashion show already, which is super fucking exciting. So I'm going to leave it at that as well, because I'm waiting for details in the next couple of weeks for that. In terms of myself personally, I haven't even spoke much about myself. I've been kind of talking about Beg for Me, but I'm I'm doing a lot of work behind the scenes to kind of clean things up, creating super deep, healthy connections and relationships. And I guess if for me personally, just you're going to be on that journey with me to be able to my journey of growth, and hopefully that inspires people to do what they love, and to just like tap into your own inner voice is like the biggest message that I've learned in like the last couple of months. Like, used to give my power away so much to external resources, to social media pages. Like, I'm super intuitive, and I used to give my power away to like psychics and be like, oh my God, like, tell me my future, tell me what's happening. And instead of like actually checking in with myself of like, what do I want? Like, what do I actually want for my future? What do I want for myself? What do I want for my legacy? What do I want for my brand? What do I want for the legacy that Beg for Me is going to leave in this world? Like, I want this to be something that like when I die, like Beg for Me is like, it's here, and it's here for a long time. And it was created because of someone just wanted to fucking follow her dreams and do what she wanted to do since she was a little kid. So this is what I'm going to leave you with. Do what you love, even if it's like so uncomfortable, because you're pushing your edges, and every single time you push your edges, you find more resilience within yourself, and you find it. You just like find it deep inside. And you would know this being a business owner, like you would 100% know that like it requires grit, and it requires you to be like, oh my God, okay, let's just fucking keep going. Do you know what I mean? Like as human beings, like finding that within ourselves is like the biggest. It's like it's such a blessing, even if it feels really fucking uncomfortable, even if people are going out of their way to shame you or say stuff, like just keep going, and your people will come, and your voice gets stronger, and your message gets stronger, and your brand gets bigger, and your business thrives. Like keep going. Don't give up.
Ever, ever, man.
Ever.
That's just
Ever.
from Dubai to the fashion shows to
Yeah.
doing what you love, man. That's all amazing. I'm very excited for you. I'm very excited for the brand. I'm very excited that we even got to connect here because
Oh, me too.
had I not checked my Instagram request, because it went to the request. Instagram didn't even want us to be great. It didn't even send you to the. So I don't normally check those often. And then when I was kind of going through it, I said, and then I went through the page. I said, no, wait, no, hold on. We got to figure, because I didn't hit you, but I feel like I was a week to a week and a half late to your
Yeah,
message. And I was just, wow, like, because I kind of felt bad. I'm just like, whenever people reach out to me, I really appreciate that. Like, I really appreciate, the fact that one, you saw something about the platform or
totally.
read something, or like something that, said, oh, let me get on this, let me do this. But
Yeah.
once I saw that, I said, oh, no, we got to do it. And then once I found out the time zone differences, I said, uh-oh, I hope, it's not too bad. And then she said, 8 a.m. is, I'm up, I'm at 'em. Let's do
Yeah.
it. Let's
I
make
was
it
like,
happen.
I'm on. I'm ready. I'm ready for you. It's good.
So I love that. I'm very excited that we got to connect. I'm very excited that, I can follow this journey now. I'm very excited that I'm even tapping into, I feel like I'm a little late, 7 months in, but I'm still very excited to see
You are not like you're in perfect timing. Just like you
perfect
said,
time.
you're in perfect timing.
Absolutely. And so this, I feel like, next January, we're definitely going to be, looking at some different progresses, looking at, you're going to be in a few different stores, a few different countries, everything like that, man. So
Maybe
very
I'll have a store in Miami and you'll have to come visit.
Oh, come on now. Miami is only 4 hours away from me driving and like a 30-minute flight. So whatever we need to do, we can make it happen. It's very easy.
Amazing.
So yeah, on that look, and really good luck to your sister. We'll definitely talk offline about getting in contact with her and get her on there. But no, it's so dope that one, like you were able to even kind of learn from her and see kind of her journey, her process, and see everything. But nonetheless, y'all both have had visions, have had aspirations, have had motivations and everything. But with that, it's always easier said than done to just keep going, to just
Oh,
you
yeah.
got to push. You got to, especially in these times that we're living. We wake up some days and what we read or what we see or what we're going through, you never know. Like when it's going to change, when it's going to end, what's it going to be. At one point, I felt like we were literally living in a dream. Like you were waking up every day and it was something totally different. Like totally, you were reading headlines, the news was getting crazy. It was just like, wow, like what is happening? But
Yeah.
the fact that nonetheless you're still able to prevail, to succeed, proceed, and everything, man, it's nothing but good things coming your way. So before we officially close out, I want my men to tap in with you. I want my women to tap in with you. I want everybody to tap in with you. So can you just tell us one, the best place to find you on social media, the website, everything like that, if people want to, shop some beg from me?
Yeah, absolutely. So, if you want to follow my journey personally, my Instagram is Tiahna. Best platform to find me is via Instagram. And my business is called at Beg For Me Label. Yeah, Beg For Me Label is how you can find it. We're also begformelabel.com. So you can find us online. Best space to contact me, though, is definitely through Beg For Me's or my personal DMs. And I can answer any questions. And in terms of like collaborations and stuff, if that's something that any listeners are thinking about, sorry, email by email, which is on my personal Instagram and my Beg For Me's Instagram as well. So it's all there on the Instagram. So any platform from that space that you want to use, you're more than welcome to use. We are also on TikTok and Facebook actually as well.
Making it happen. Okay, y'all.
Yeah.
So look, y'all heard it. I'm gonna make sure it's in the bio. I'm gonna make sure everybody gets it. Look, y'all, this is Australia we talking to, man. I don't know if y'all heard it in the beginning, but this is monumental just for the podcast for
This
us
is huge
because
for you. That's so exciting as well.
ooh, yeah, it's one thing to know that something I check often is just my analytics, like what countries are listening to me, where I'm at, and different things like that. And it was always beautiful to know that. I think now I'm over 50 countries. But exciting to know that, I'm actually speaking with somebody like in a different country. I can put a face to a name and everything like that. That's amazing. So I'm definitely excited to even get more exposure to your crowd, your audience, and everything like that, and
100%.
vice versa. Because I definitely know some people will be tapping in with you, whether it's just to shop, collaborate. I have a lot of people just in that fashion space and
Yeah.
in that brand space and always looking for work and things like that. So look,
Amazing.
y'all hit her
I
up.
can
She's
I
ready
can
to work.
supply work. I can do that.
Yeah, ready to make it happen. So let's do it. So I appreciate you coming on here today. I thank you so much. Good morning to everybody out there in
Yeah.
Australia and a good evening to everybody here on the East Coast in the United States, everything like that. But this has been another episode of the Down to Business podcast here with Tamar Turner.